Hi, my name is Lyman, and this is my submission to the It Gets Better project. First, I want to say that I'm so happy that these videos are out there, and I hope they're giving some assistance and guidance and hope and support to some people out there that are going through some tough times. When I was a kid, there was nothing like this. I'm 48 years old, and in the 70s when I was growing up in suburban Chicago, there was nothing like this. And I remember sneaking into the library and sneaking to the card catalog and in the stacks trying to find some kind of image, some kind of identity for myself. I didn't really know what it meant. I know I felt different. I heard words out there. They were calling me fag, femme, all these things, and I didn't understand it. I didn't get it. And I just remember trying to look in the card catalog, trying to find the word fag, the word femme, the word gay, which I think I'd seen in the magazine or heard in jokes, and looking for the word homosexual. And the only thing I could find were negative things, abomination, sin in God's eyes, a lot of religious dogma that was telling me that I was no good, and that was not easy to hear, but that's the only information I got. I mean, my story is a lot like a lot of other kids out there or people out there that I think I came out of the womb gay. I remember coming home for hot lunch at elementary school and seeing my mom watch soap operas and being totally attracted to the men in these soap operas. In 1972, I wrote love letters or letters of admiration to Robert Redford when The Sting came out. I was a theater kid. I was in choir. In 5th grade, I put together my own play with friends, with people in that class that we performed for other kids. So if it was stereotypically a gay thing to be into theater and singing and dancing and movies, that was me. And the kids definitely weren't going to have anything to do with that. And I got teased and bullied and beaten up every single day. There wasn't a day that it didn't happen, and it was pretty frightening and pretty scary. And the more they teased me and bullied me, the more I dug into that drama and the movies and theater and singing as an escape to try to find some kind of happiness and fantasy world where things were okay. And so that's where I went. And the kids were mean and everything, but I think the thing that really hurt the most was the lack of a voice that the adults around me did not, the lack of voice that they did not provide. Is that double negative? Anyway, my parents tried to do the best they could, but they didn't know how to handle it. They didn't say anything. They didn't give me approval. I was very much an obvious little gay kid, and they didn't know what to say and didn't say anything. And then school teachers, when the kids were bullying me and beating me up, and they'd probably stop the fights, but they didn't say anything. I looked to them for guidance for what the future would bring, because they were adults. They had been there. They were smart. And particularly the absolute negative influence the church had on my life. And going to church and hearing that I was an abomination, a sin in God's eyes, and that nothing positive could come from this thing that I was holding, this little secret inside me. And, well, I guess it wasn't really a secret, because everybody else was calling me that and knew I was, but I didn't know what it meant. This kind of confusion was overwhelming, and it created such desperation and depression and loneliness, and it was not easy, and it wasn't tough. But I guess the thing that made it tolerable in the smallest way, well, the biggest way, is that I did have a friend here and there that looked past all the other verbal abuse and beating up. My friend Bruce Thomas, what a great guy he is, and he is today. I just went to my 30th reunion, and what an amazing man he is. Married has a beautiful grown child, and this guy was there for me when I was a little kid, and just the fact that he would be my friend made it a little bit more tolerable. So going through high school and then just really being afraid of what my future would hold, it was pretty tough. But I did graduate from high school because I had friends there that helped me make it to the next day. They gave me hope. And then when I got into college, it got better. and it got better really, really quick. All of a sudden, I wasn't forced in this environment with these other people. I chose where to go to school, and I chose what friends to have, and we, people of like-mindedness. And also at that time, I started to see role models that helped give me a sense of identity, something that is really tough. And I think if we can find role models, that really helps us mature and grow. My first role model was Jerry Harkey, and he was an instructor, a teacher at Arizona State University, and he was sort of a Wally Cleaver, just a all-American kind of guy that wore Hawaiian shirts, and he just was normal. He was very matter-of-fact about who he was, his sexuality, and it was just part of who he was. And his comfortableness and just very normalness gave me hope and said, okay, well, it's not as horrible as I thought. At the end of college, I had an employer who just right at the end of an interview came right out and just started talking about my sexuality and that I was gay. And she was taking a pretty big risk with regard to, business law and stuff like that. But she knew that was part of who I was. And she said that I owed it to myself, and she owed it to be, there was nothing wrong with it. Gay, straight, it made no difference. I just was that way, and I needed to be honest with myself. And the sooner I would get there, the better my life would be, and she was absolutely right. Her courage and her determination just gave me that final push to finally really accept myself and be honest. And from that point on, there's been no regrets, and life has gotten better. It's gotten much, much better. Ever since that honesty is out there and I've started to feel comfortable with who I was, my life just opened up in front of me. My open relationship with my family, my mom and dad, my sister, is so important to me and is so nurturing. That lie that I told earlier about not being gay, it just created a wall between us. But by being open, it brought us so close. We often censor ourselves in the fear that somebody else isn't going to accept us. But we're really not giving them enough credit. If we're honest, they can deal with us honestly, and they can really come to the table to show what great people they are. I'm open in my work. I work in the cruise industry, and I work in the producer. I have a very, very normal life. I've traveled the world. I've had great jobs, I've got great friends, and great family. So what I thought could never be possible as a high school kid, fearing the road ahead, none of that came true. It's the most incredible life, good and bad. It's incredibly normal. There are great times in life, there are horrible times in life. But it's just like everybody else's. You have a great future. Don't shorten it in any way by the horrible disparaging remarks and bullying and teasing that the people are dishing out without thinking there's any consequence. Publishing videos of people having sex on the internet? What could be more insane than that? There may not have been any hate crimes, but who does that? Anyway, that's another story. It gets better. Your life becomes yours. The older you get, the more you're in control of your life, the more choices you make it to be exactly what you want it to be. I hope that something I've said has helped. I wish you the best. It gets better. Much, much better.